Hey everyone, I wanted to jump on this afternoon and update you on the third part of your War is Hell assignment. So hopefully you are caught up with parts 1 and 2. I'll be looking over those and making some comments in the next couple of days, hopefully by the end of day tomorrow on the research piece. So you'll see if you are looking at this assignment, you should have your short constructed response finished. You should have answered these 3 questions using the textbook. You should, at that point, have picked one specific technology that you want to focus on. So this could be anything from tanks to poison gas to aircraft, anything that you read about or have learned about that you want to study further from World War I. You also hopefully picked your choice and then were able to do the research, which are these 5 questions, just getting some background information on what the actual technology was, who created it, why it was created, examples, those ideas. So at this point, if you're finished with this, you are ready to move on to the final piece of this assignment, which is the public service announcement. So one of the things that I want you to think about is putting yourself in the shoes of those living in Europe between 1914 and 1918. Technology becomes significant to fighting the war. Technology becomes one of the most important pieces that comes out of this war, as it really sets the stage for modern warfare to continue further into our modern era. So as you are learning about these technologies and you pick one to focus on, you are going to create a public service announcement, which would act as a warning for people living in the time period against the power of these new weapons, and just explaining how dangerous they are, explaining why these technological advances changed the way wars were fought. So you're basically creating a poster that you would share with the people living in Europe between 1914 and 1918 during the war. So you have a couple different things that I want you to think about and include on your poster. So number 1, explain the technology. So whatever it might be, explain it and explain the associated dangers. So if you're picking tanks, explain what they were and why they were dangerous. If you're picking submarines, explain what they were and why they were dangerous. So go through and explain your ideas. Second thing, I want you to include a colored illustration. You are more than welcome to hand draw this on a blank sheet of paper and include it as part of your poster. You can also include images that you find in Google searches and Google Images. Those are fine as well. Think of a way to show the technology creatively. The third thing I want you to do on your poster is explain the effects that the technology had on people. So think about how it affected civilians and soldiers who were fighting and living during this First World War. Explain how that technology made a difference in their lives. How did it affect the population who was fighting in this war and who was living during this war? And then the last thing is a strong message. Think of this as a tagline or a warning sign, something that explains your knowledge of the subject. I always think back to my youth when public service announcements were on the TV all of the time, and there, were examples of public service announcements to get us to not do things. So Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent forest fires would be a great tagline. For preventing fire. So that's what I'm thinking of when I say a strong message. Think of like a message or a headline, something that would catch the reader's attention. And then finally, your posters are graded on accuracy, completeness, professionalism, use of your time, effort, and grammar. So this assignment is not actually due until next Wednesday. So you have until next Wednesday to complete part 3. So you should absolutely be able to finish this in the next 7 days. So you're finishing up research, you're working on this public service announcement. You really need to use your time in order to get that finished, but you have plenty of it. I also put on this assignment 2 examples from past classes. So this is something you can look at to see what other students have done in the past. This is one example or two examples of what your poster could look like. So considering all of this, if you do have questions, we do have virtual sessions this week that are graded and mandatory for check-ins. We have a session tomorrow, which is Thursday, at 12:30 p.m. We also have a session on Friday at 1:30 p.m. So if you run into any questions or if you haven't attended a virtual check-in session yet, please plan on being at either one of those. They're a great opportunity for you to ask questions, check in, see what you need to do. So that is your assignment for the rest of the week this week. Just know that we will not spend any time on this in terms of class time for next week. So when you see things pop up on Google Classroom come Monday, we are moving on. So we're going to start looking at the United States' involvement in World War I, what public opinion was like. Did people support the war? Did they not support the war? So that's where we're going next. So make sure you're working on this assignment on your own time, making sure it's done by Wednesday so that you are caught up.